Hello and welcome to Makeshift Minis. Today I'm going to be making a monster that dwells in the deep, an aboleth. I knew it was going to be a large figure, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to ease myself into blending colors. To keep the mini relatively light and the cure time down, I use aluminum foil to make a base for the body. After shaping and posing the body, I add an armature for the rear fin. The aboleth has 3 eyes stacked vertically, so after making a few indents, I glue down a few beads. Tweezers can help, but in some cases I find my fingers work better even if I'm likely to glue my hand to something. Covering the body in plastic will give the mini an organic texture and a hard shell when it cures. I used acetone to melt the plastic into a goo, which unfortunately doesn't number on my already dry hands. To start working on the fins, I use my pliers to bend paper clips into shape for armatures. After I make all the fins, I cover them in a layer of foil. I make sure some of the wire is showing so I can have a few anchor points. Using my awl, I poke holes in the aboleth's body for the wires. With all the fins attached, I begin covering them in more plastic. This is mostly just pulling and smoothing down the soft plastic so it completely coats the fin. To give things a bit more character, I add a ridge on the outer edge of the fin. Besides making things look more interesting, it helps me find the membrane when it comes time to paint. The aboleth, like most Lovecraftian elder evils, has tentacles. With that said, I glue thin wires to either side as an armature for them. Once the wires are in place, I use plastic to fill out the tentacles and strengthen them. Using a small hand drill, I put a hole in a lid that I'm going to use as a base. The hole is for some heavy gauge wire which will hold up the mini. Using the wire, I mark the underside of the aboleth. After drilling a hole in the figure, I glue it to the base and spray it down with some of my homemade accelerator. Since an aboleth is mostly one color, I decided to go with underpainting. Once I decided that, I started with a base coat of black. Once the base coat dried, I start building up lighter shades. So with the base coat done, I dry brush on a medium gray. Once I'm finished with the gray, I dry brush on white. It's kind of interesting looking at how stark the contrast is. With the undercoat finished, I make a blue-green glaze with 1 part paint to 3 parts water. It's not perfect and a little bit thin, so I do need to apply a few coats. Since a lot of the art with an aboleth has their fins fading through multiple colors, I thought this would be a good chance to practice blending. I start with the orange glaze as the primary color. Once the orange dries, I paint red by the base of each fin. I only use 1 thin coat in hopes that it'll make the gradation smoother. Since I'm trying to make the fin fade from dark to light, I paint a thin coat of yellow on the area of the fin furthest from the body. Thankfully, I remembered that the bottom of the fins need to be painted too. To bring all the colors together, I dry brush orange on the fins. With all the details finished, I paint the base black. Using a larger brush while painting in a circular motion helps me get a good coverage over a wide area fairly quickly. Once the base is done, the aboleth is finished and it's on to the glamour shots. The aboleth is definitely one of my larger builds, though not quite as massive as my fire elemental, let alone the Dracolich. It was definitely easier than painting either of them since it was mostly one color with large open areas to paint. With a bit of practice I could definitely get better at blending colors, though I don't think I did a bad job. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Take care, be well, and until next time.